Hello, everyone, and welcome to our bi weekly live at lunchtime volunteer training. Today, we are going to be talking about how volunteers can contribute from home. So, ways that you guys can earn volunteer hours from home, doing things that are going to help out the shelter or the pets. This is going to help you guys if, for whatever reason, you're not able to make it in. Maybe you're traveling. Um, it is cold and flu season. Maybe you've got sick kids at home. Um, Maybe with the holidays, you're just too busy. Sometimes people have injuries or health issues that can kind of prevent them from being able to come into the shelter or attend events. But people are always asking about how they can help if for some reason they're not able to make it into the shelter for whatever reason. So these are going to be some of those things that we're going to talk about today. So one big thing that volunteers can do is host a neighborhood donation drive. So usually after summer ends, you start seeing quite a few yard sales about this time of year, and then of course spring before it starts getting too hot in the summer. And so many people have these items that, if they're not putting them in a yard sale, they're just donating them to Goodwill while they're doing their deep cleaning. So these are some things that almost everybody probably has in their house, at least a lot of it. Um, Obviously, more so for pet owners or those who have previously had pets. But a lot of this stuff is just common things that people have not only in their house but have an abundance of that they're often throwing out. So, some of the things that you could request for a neighborhood donation drive are going to be things like towels, washcloths, hand towels, sheets. Flat sheets specifically are best. We do use those to cover up any kind of pop up kennels that we have in the hallways when we have lots of extra dogs. We also cut them into quarters and use them to cover feral cat transfer cages, things like that. And then, of course, throw blankets. Now, when it comes to towels and bedding, they don't have to look brand new. We just ask that maybe they're not full of holes. Comforters are something that we can't accept just because the stuffing in there does um, create a little bit of a concern if a dog chews it up and that stuffing gets ingested and they get impacted. In addition to that, we do have pretty common washers, so a lot of times we may receive some that are just too big for the washing machines. So throw blankets are the best option, especially this time of year. Once it starts getting a little cooler, we'll be using more of those in the dog kennels adoption side and stray side. So any of those things can be brought to us. Of course, collars and leashes, any types of bowls for food or water, whether it's for cats, dogs. We even accept things for exotic pets, so birds, hamsters, guinea pigs. While they don't come in every single day, we do see them quite a few times throughout the year, so it's always nice to have some of those on hand when they are brought in. Any kind of pet toys, including Kongs or puzzle feeders, are great. Pet beds, and on pet beds, I will say that sometimes poses an issue if they're larger and don't fit in a washing machine, but of course, the small ones, the ones that are made for cats or small dogs, those are great. If we use a large pet bed in with one of the large dogs, oftentimes we have to toss it after its use just because we have no way to clean it and sanitize it afterwards. But we do accept pet beds, and when we get those larger ones, we can send those out with any fosters that might be taking a dog home. Um, Bags of food or pet treats, they need to be sealed unopened for us to accept them. Any type of canned food, whether it's dog food, cat food, kitten, puppy, any of that is fine. Pet wipes or any type of grooming supplies to include brushes, shampoos, pet conditioners, pet sprays, anything we can use for them is just fine. Canned pumpkin or canned veggies. These are great for Kongs. The canned pumpkin is wonderful for those dogs that come in and may have upset stomachs for whatever reason. Pumpkin is wonderful for digestion for these guys. Catnip, that can be dried catnip or catnip spray. Also pheromone sprays. Probably not a common household item, but we do like to have those within the shelter. It definitely helps with calming the pets when they're more stressed out. And then plastic Easter eggs. People usually have tons of them. A lot of times they get lost. You don't know where you stored them. You don't want to dig them out or try and find them, so you just keep buying more. But Easter eggs, we can throw cat treats in there, close them up, and put them in cat kennels. It makes wonderful cat enrichment. So we always accept those as well. And they're typically not super tough material. So they do break after a couple uses. So it's okay to have several of those on hand. Now, in addition to these material items here, there's also a lot of items that we can use for enrichment that are recycled. So empty paper towel and toilet paper rolls, paper egg cartons, preferably no plastic or styrofoam because we don't want the dogs to eat those. Boxes from plastic gloves. So if you're using plastic gloves at home for cleaning or maybe something in your garage with chemicals or something of that nature, those glove boxes are great. You can throw a toy in them, put them in there, and then they knock the ball around in there or whatever is in there. Empty boxes from snacks like crackers, cereal, microwave meals, any of those small small cardboard boxes, you can bring those into us. We stack them inside of each other by various sizes. We can throw some dog kibble in there or treats, and it's great for them to be able to shred those apart safely without getting hurt or impacted. And then we also recycle aluminum cans at the shelter. So if you or your neighborhood wants to have a aluminum can recycling drive, all those cans that get collected, you can either bring them to the shelter or you can take them to a recycling center, and whatever you receive from that, donate it to us. But we do use that. Every little thing helps. So it might not be thousands, but every little bit helps towards caring for these pets. So if you decide to host a donation drive, simply keep track of how much time you spend planning for it, how much time you spend collecting donations or posting on social media. You can collect all that information and send it to me, and I can award you hours for that. If you're going to be monetary donation, I can talk about that in a little bit, but as far as any kind of supplies like this, just let me know. Get something going. Post on your HOA page or in your Facebook. Whatever you can do always helps, and we will award credit for your time doing that. So another thing you can do at home, whether it is from the recycled materials that you may have collected during a donation drive or stuff you just have on hand. I talked about a couple of these, the bark boxes and kitty Kongs already, but you guys can make these at home and they're so easy. And this is just 3 quick and easy things that we commonly prep at the shelter for the pets. But if you go on Pinterest or even just do a Google search for DIY pet enrichment, you are going to find hundreds of ideas to be able to create different enrichment things for the pets. So I have seen where pieces of fabric were taken, there was a little bit of catnip in there, and then they were tied closed for instant cat toys. I've seen people cut up sheets or old t-shirts and braid the strips, instant dog rope. There's just so many things you guys can do. A little bit of research. if you make something that doesn't necessarily have a shorter term lifespan, like obviously anything with food, we'll want to use that in an appropriate time frame so it doesn't go bad. But things like catnip, toilet paper rolls, and the little fabric catnips, the dog rope toys, all of those things, nothing is going to go bad in them. You can prep tons of them. Again, keep track of how long it takes you, how much time you spend doing it. Once you drop them off at the shelter, you can just let me know, and I can definitely award you hours for prepping enrichment at home too. We do have a couple of volunteers right now that will take materials from the shelter that we've collected, take them home, take a bag of dog food with them. They do all the prep and then they bring it back, and that is great too. We do prep, well, Eric preps enrichment every day at noon at the shelter during the week. He's always needing help with it. You guys are welcome to come there and help him during that time. But if it's something you can't do, but you want to do, this is something that can easily be done in your home with little kids or whoever else. It's super quick and easy. It's fun. And you can do a lot of it in a short amount of time. So another opportunity that you guys could do from home is to challenge your friends or family members to take the $10 challenge. That is set up online. There's a QR code available here that you can scan, and it'll take you to the website. But this is a challenge where you can donate monthly. So just like ASPCA or St. Jude's, you're just committing to a small donation once a month. It's taken out automatically, so you can just set it up and forget about it. Any denomination is fine. I believe the minimum is $10, but you can do more if you're feeling extra generous. But this is really important for our shelter. So not only are we getting a lot of food and pet supplies donated, which is great, but we're also spending quite a bit of money. Probably the majority of our money that goes to the animals is going to be for veterinary care, whether that is taking them to the vet for an illness or a surgery, or simply just covering the cost of microchips for every single pet, their spay and neuter surgeries, all of their vaccines, their flea and tick prevention, heartworm prevention when we have it available. All of that stuff costs a lot each month. So, when you come in and you see, well, they're getting food, they're getting water, they're getting a roof over their head, that's not even the extent of how much it costs to provide for every single pet that comes in. And we're taking in probably $5,000 a year, give or take. So it definitely becomes very pricey, especially when you take into consideration the amount of heartworm dogs that we're treating, and surgeries on animals that were struck by vehicles, or that were abused, things like that. So it adds up quickly, and committing to this and challenging your friends or family members is a great way to kind of keep us at float from month to month. It really helps out a lot. A little bit from lots of people keeps us sustainable. Another thing you can do from home is share away on your social media. There's so many various social media platforms out there, lots of people on different ones. There's really no singular one that everybody is a go-to. So sharing your volunteering experience or sharing pets that are available at the shelter. Maybe you're fostering pets. Share those photos, talk about them, share their personality, or things that they're loving or learning, anything you can to kind of help these pets get more acknowledged by a wider number of community members. Hopefully one of them is their forever home. I'm looking at this image that is AI generated that I used for this, and I'm looking at the cats on the laptop, and they look absolutely terrifying. But anyways, feel free to share. Maybe it's an HSMBA post asking for help with a heartworm positive dog, or maybe it's a volunteer post. We need help with laundry. That's common. Share away. The more people that we can get to help, the better. Um, you can share any pets that are in need of being fostered if you're on the foster page. Obviously, you can share the $10 challenge link. You can help with upcoming events by sharing the word, getting the word out there about where we're going to be, what time, who's going to be out there, cats or dogs. Lots of things going on social media. And if you attended the, which one was it? I believe it was maybe the last training on helping get animals adopted. I think it was called animal marketing or pet marketing, adoption marketing, something like that. Anyways, um, a lot of people are spending about 2 hours a day on average on social media. So whether you like it or not, it's something that can definitely be useful, especially in our situation. The better the photos, people, they look at them, they're cute, they make them happy. So, especially the funny ones, they bring in a lot of attention from the community. So, anything we can do um, with regards to social media and sharing and getting our messages out there and educating people is going to be a tremendous priority. Another way you can help from home, fostering a pet. We always have tons of puppies and kittens available for that are usually under about 8 weeks old. They need to get into a foster home. They're not big enough for spay and neuter surgeries, so they always have to go out. Heartworm positive dogs cannot be in the shelter with their treatment. That treatment is going to make their heart work really hard while it kills off the heartworms. So they need to be in a quiet environment, such as a home, so they can get started and also have transportation to and from their vet visits. Any long stay pets or pets that are starting to deteriorate behaviorally are great to go into foster homes just because it prolongs them. It helps them kind of reset, gives them a break from all the stress and to calm down, remember what it's like in a home setting rather than a kennel at a shelter. So those are great options for fosters. And then of course medical cases. Sometimes we'll have some that have a major surgery. They just seem to recover better in a foster home than in the shelter. So there's a lot of different things, situations where you can foster a pet. And if you do foster a pet, I don't award volunteer hour credit for fostering to every single person, simply because we do have a pretty good amount of fosters, and a lot of those fosters don't volunteer as well. A lot of people aren't really concerned with the hours, whatever. But if you do foster and you do want to receive that volunteer hour credit, especially if you're not coming into the shelter and you want to stay active as a volunteer, I can do that. Any puppies or kittens under 13 weeks of age get 12 hours of credit per week. If they're over 13 weeks of age, they get 6 hours per pet per week. So if you've got a litter of puppies or a litter of kittens, those hours rack up very quickly. But in addition to that, the way I calculate the volunteer or the foster credit is by awarding that total amount to the foster household. So let's say you have a pet for 6 weeks. At the time that that pet is either returned to the shelter or adopted out, whichever comes first, I will calculate that total. At that point, I will award that total to the household. If there are, 2 adults and 2 kids in the household, I can evenly distribute those hours, divided up amongst each individual. I can split it up between the 2 high school age volunteers that need hours per school, or it can just go to mom or dad or the individual in there that does the fostering while everybody else just maybe plays with them but doesn't want to do the hard stuff, cleaning, feeding, watering, whatever. So that can be distributed however you guys need, and it's a great way to get hours if you need them for school or work where you need a significant number by a certain time. Helping with laundry. So I don't publicly share this most of the time, but when you guys come in and help with laundry, one, it's amazing. Two, a lot of times volunteers will offer to take bags of laundry home to wash. I'm not going to say no at all, because especially when it's cold out, we go through a lot. Or when we're really full. Puppy season is rough on the laundry because there's tons of them and they are messy. But if you guys come in to help with laundry and you're trying to take bags home, I award 2 hours of volunteer credit per garbage bag of laundry. So you take 2 bags home, you get 4 hours of credit. You take 6 bags, you're going to get 12 hours credit. Whatever it is, even if you only take 1, that's fine. Usually this isn't too big of a deal. Again, it's just kind of when we're so backed up that the laundry is touching the ceiling tiles, which tends to happen from time to time. So this is an option as well for you guys to earn volunteer hour credit from home if it's something you're interested in. Now, another thing that we've been kind of discussing within the shelter is new pet kennel tags. So obviously ours are very, what's the word? Very technical. It's a lot of information from our shelter manager system that is kind of irrelevant to, guests, volunteers. We use it as staff members to know when vaccines are, or if they've been spayed or neutered yet, things like that. But most of it is not going to make sense to the average person. So one thing we would like to do is have that kennel tag that's generated from our program on the back side of that, and on the front, a super adorable, fun bio with their picture on it that really shows what the pet is like. So imagine going into our dog kennels or the cat rooms and you're looking at a big picture of the pet, what their name is, and the really important stuff, the stuff that people want to know. Are they male or female? How old? How big? What's their personality like? What do they enjoy? Do they like playing in dog pools? Do they like playing fetch? Is it a cat that's playful, or is it a cat that just wants to lounge on a couch all day? All of this information is what our adopters are actually looking for. So that's what really would be ideal on these. So if you've come into the shelter and you've gotten pictures of a pet, you've spent time with them, you can always from home create an adorable kennel tag. These are obviously some example ones from other, I'm assuming one clearly looks like from another shelter. I don't know about the other one. But these are just examples, simple, but they kind of have the good stuff on there to give you a guide. If you want to know any details about a pet as far as age, weight, things like that, I can certainly provide it for you. But if you are really attached to one of the pets, or if you have a foster pet that will be coming back into the shelter for their adoption to be seen by adopters, this is a great idea for them. You can create one of these either in Canva for free, Photoshop, whatever kind of program you guys need, This is a great way for us to put it on their kennel tag without the boring one. This one's a lot cuter. It's going to draw attention to their kennel and give these adopters what they really want to know about the pets. I would imagine that this will definitely be something that could make adoptions far quicker for the pets if they actually had um, a wonderful bio on them. So the more of these we can get going on a regular basis, the better. If you guys do create one of these at home, maybe it's for your foster that's going to be coming back in because it's now big enough for spay and neuter, just let me know. Email it to me. We'll get it printed out. We'll get it on their kennel. And they will be ready to go as soon as they're into that kennel. As far as the ones that are already in there, you can do this for them too. And I can award you volunteer credit. Again, just let me know how much time you're spending creating these. If you can develop, a nice little default template where you just have to change the picture and info whenever you do a new one, that's going to streamline it to make it even quicker. So this is definitely something you guys can help out with that's actually really fun and creative. Another way to earn volunteer credit from home is attending the monthly volunteer meeting that is held on Zoom. So you just click on the link that I email out and post on social media. That is going to be at 6 p.m. every third Wednesday. They usually do not last more than maybe 30 minutes to an hour. They're pretty quick and easy depending on what we start talking about. But you do receive an hour of volunteer credit for attending these. Again, it's once a month. It's quick. It's a great way to keep active in the system if you haven't been able to make it in for whatever reason. So these are pretty good to join in on. I love hearing your guys' ideas. You have such a unique perspective that staff members and I often don't see. We kind of get tunnel vision with policies and doing things the way we've always kind of done them. So when you guys come in and with your ideas or little tiny things that think, what if you tried it this way? They can sometimes create something very big for us. So I love when there's a lot of you guys joining this and we start talking about things maybe that we could fix or improve. And we always come out with such good ideas every single meeting. At least a handful of good ideas come out of it. So I definitely value your guys' opinions and your thoughts. So consider joining one of these one time if you haven't before. Educating others is huge. You go on social media, especially, it doesn't matter what kind of a post it is, whether it's regarding, shelters or whatever. There's always going to be someone who has a very negative opinion or remark to make. So sometimes it's hard to not entertain their comments, but we can use those moments to really teach people about the reality of animal welfare. So talking about spaying and neutering, our TNR program where we spay and neuter feral cats for free, the importance of vaccinations to keep their pets healthy, training to prevent them from, their owners not wanting to deal with them and dumping them or dropping them off at the shelter, and just being part of the solution and not the problem. I think a lot of people don't really understand the the things that go on behind the scenes. Luckily, as volunteers, you guys do see a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. In regards to, you guys are volunteering one day in the shelter and someone is bringing in a dog that they've had for 5 years and they don't want it anymore because they just got a new puppy and they don't get along, so they're going to get rid of the older one. Or people bringing in boxes of kittens because their cat isn't spayed and they can't afford to keep them. And there's so many different situations when pets come in. Just educating others, sharing your experience, things you've seen, why it's important to, if you're having a pet, to really take care of staying on top of their health and their training so that you don't have to worry as much about the risk of them being dumped or or no longer wanted. That's a big one. Just doing your best to provide information or resources, if you know of some, to people who are struggling to maybe pay for vaccines and wellness, or finding help for them for spay and neuter options that are lower cost. And of course, also helping us share that, especially in New Braunfels, where HSMBA is the only shelter, you can bring stray pets to us without the fear of them being euthanized. A shelter is not designed to want to end the lives of homeless pets. It is designed to help pets in need as they transition into hopefully a new permanent home. We do our best. We can't control everything. We can't control the health or the reactivity of pets when they come in. It is not our fault that people can't care for their pets. You guys have a behind the scenes. You guys help. You're part of the solution. So this can definitely be a great way to help out outside of the shelter, is just helping others understand the severity of the situation, the severity of not spaying and neutering. And hopefully, in time, all the issues that we see will start to decline significantly. It's not going to be tomorrow, but better late than never. So, and I do apologize for this photo, because it really does hurt your heart. I know it hurts mine, but I feel like the message needs to be very strong to really make people understand the severity of the situation with spay and neuter, and the effects of not doing it, and the increase of homeless pets. So that is that for today, right at 30 minutes just about. So if you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to reach out to me. Email is best. I will be at the shelter this Saturday, the 13th. If you guys want to stop by and say hello, or if you need to talk to me for any reason in person, I will be in there. But other than that, thank you guys so much for joining today. I will be uploading this onto our YouTube volunteer resources page, so you guys can watch it in the future if you missed it today, or if you ever want to refer back to it. You guys can also always share comments of other ways that you think, folks can help out from home, or things you might want to do from home. So have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all soon.